Hey, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Today is part 2 of my political spirit guides. Yes, I did say those words, political spirit guides, because some people are like, what did she just say? That's what I just said. Are going to answer your questions. If you're new here, I am a channel. Yes, I can channel 100%. Go to my logo. Go to my main page, you will see me literally lose all my faculties while a discarnate entity speaks through me. It's kind of disconcerting if you ask me. So the spirit guides and I have kind of come up with this way of doing these videos where I blend them with me. You will see this in real time. You will see me struggle with words. You will see me get schooled by them. You'll see the whole thing right here today. So thanks for joining me. All right, today we have a question from Fawn Laurie, and God bless Fawn. She wants to say that she wants to apologize. She's offering all of us an apology on her behalf, on Georgia's behalf. God bless her. She says, I just want to apologize to everyone for MTG. She's an embarrassment to Georgia. Okay, we agree. MTG is Marjorie Taylor Greene, in case you're not sure what that acronym means. Her question is, the majority of Georgians are pro-choice, and yet we weren't allowed to vote on the current restrictions put in place by our Republican governor, Brian Kemp. Do you see the state getting a Democratic governor such as Stacey Abrams and women getting back control of reproductive health? Fawn, God bless you. All right, let's see. We're gonna help Fawn out here. Well, first of all, the guides are saying that I think they've said this before because I'm channeling, I don't remember, that Stacey won. Okay, they're like, let's just state the truth, the obvious here. Stacey won. There were some voting irregularities, is the word they want to use, and yeah. So what that means, though, because again, you have to take what they don't say as well as what they do say. What they didn't say was that what they did say was Stacey won, but what they didn't say is that means exactly what you said, Fawn, which is the majority of Georgians would support a Stacey Abrams, would support a Democratic candidate. So yes, I do see. I need to go into Georgia's energy because if you guys are new here, Atlanta is ground zero. So the guides said, I don't know how many months ago, Atlanta is ground zero. Now, at the time, I didn't know how to read that energy. I didn't know if that meant ground zero for civil unrest. Did that mean ground zero for Fani Willis taking Trump and some of his cronies out? What exactly did that mean? And maybe it meant both. Right? Maybe it meant all of the above. However, as the months have progressed, and I've seen how Jack Smith and Fani Willis are sort of doing this dance back and forth, which is very important. It's very much 5D chess. I feel like once Fani Willis does her thing, and I think a lot of Georgia, I think the power structure, that's not exactly the word, but it's close enough that they want to use in the political power structure in Georgia will be recalibrated. Okay. So that means to me that you guys are going to have more Democratic political control or more Democratic political representation. They don't like the word control, representation, because we're not trying to control anything here. We're trying to represent the will of the people. So yes, I do see this happening. I'm not sure Brian Kemp isn't going to have some sort of mud. So they talk to me in pictures, in thoughts. I hear, all of it. It's like a psychic maelstrom of blizzard of information that I then quickly have to sort of make sense of and then put into words. So they want to show me the picture of Brian Kemp having mud thrown on him. He's wearing some nice clothes and somebody drives by, and let's just hope that this is a bus, and let's hope that its name is Karma, and it drives by and it hits this great big mud puddle, and the mud puddle throws mud all over him. It's one side of him. I think that's important. It would be his right side. He's looking at me. Tell me what side. Okay, it's his left side. It's his left side, which is receiving, right? Our left side is receiving. So the mud, see, again, they give you the picture, but there's so many layers of messages in the one message. Okay. So the mud comes over onto him. It was very specific that it was one side. It was like, oh, he reaches to one side. It's not that. It's also important too, that it's not his front for some reason. It doesn't come at him this way. It comes at him from the side. What does that mean? He's not looking for it. He's not looking for this to happen. He doesn't expect it to happen. Cars have been going up and down this road. Let's think of it as energy. Energy things have been going up and down this road, not affecting him. He's powerful. He's looking straight ahead. He's doing his business. He feels that whatever this is with Trump and the fake electors and Lindsey Graham and Rudy Giuliani and whoever it all is, it doesn't affect me. Yes, I'm untouchable. Yeah, I'm untouchable. This isn't going to affect me. And so when karma comes through, this big old karma bus, and blows this stuff on him, he is affected. It doesn't mean I don't think that he's going to be charged. It doesn't mean I don't think that he's going to be indicted, but I think that he has mud on his face. His reputation is sullied. He has some, even if it's tenuous, connection to some of these things. In other words, he is not untouchable. He has been implicated, is the word they want to use. He's implicated. So now you can understand how when I do these videos, they end up being an hour long, because Fawn just asked one simple question. And now we're talking about Kemp, and we're talking about, all these things. Because when you go into the energy, there's quite a bit there to discover, to dive into. And you guys that are psychic, and many, well, let's rephrase that. Everyone is psychic. Let's repeat after Susan. I am psychic. There, that wasn't hard, was it? Okay. Now, those of you that are really feeling your psychic abilities and really allowing and being in touch with them and exercising that, dive in yourself. What do you get? Put it in the comments. I think Kemp is XYZ. Don't put in a cuss word, because YouTube doesn't like that. But I'm asking you to go into your intuition. We don't want to use our brain. So one way to do this, and it works so far 100% of the time, is ask yourself this question. If I could imagine, what would I imagine to happen to Governor Kemp? When you say the words imagine, your brain is like, she ain't talking to me. And it goes and sits down and has an icy or a slushy or something because it's hot. So it's a good way to really allow your intuition to come to the surface, is use the word imagine. Okay, I'm going to move on. Fawn, you don't have to apologize for Georgia. I have to apologize for Texas. I'm from Kentucky. Look, I got double whammy going on here. And even worse than that, when I moved to Texas, we had a silver-haired woman governor that rode a motorcycle, Ann Richards. And I thought, woohoo, this is awesome. As soon as I got here, G.W. Bush was elected. So maybe I got some bad political juju that I'm bringing along with me. I don't know. I'm going to apologize to the state of Texas. All right. We've all got somebody these days. The scoundrels are everywhere. Okay. Thank you, Fawn. Let's move on to Susan 794. Susan wants to know, will Ron Johnson of Wisconsin get in trouble for anything? She's like, I'll take a parking ticket. I'll take anything. It is that kind of energy, right? Like, these people get away with everything, right? Parking tickets, bad behavior, crimes, whatever. It seems like they just get away with everything. Okay. She gives us some options here. The spirit guides have some options to choose from, multiple choice. Colluding with Russia, January 6th, anything. And and again, you guys, when the guides say something, when I say something, I mean, it might be funny, but it's true. When I said parking tickets, I didn't make that up. That came from the spirit guides. So you're likely to see in the next couple of months, for those of you who have good memories, because again, my guides kind of shoot way out into the future. It could be tomorrow, but anyway, I feel like he's going to be in the news for parking tickets. I'm telling you, they don't say these things for no reason. They don't waste the energy that it takes to get me, who's sometimes a stubborn translator, to say things. Now, will he get in trouble for anything, including with Russia? Right. So see that reaction right there, that is, I don't do that very often. That's bad news right there. I don't like that. That feels like I'm not going to go into how it feels. Okay. I don't want to give energy to it, but I'm going to tell you, yeah, he's going to be implicated. Also, the word is implied. It's going to be implied that he has colluded with Russia, that he has connections to Russia. The guides are telling me this is public, that we already know this. I don't know. Maybe we already do. Maybe there's some publication or some article that's been written that has drawn these connections, right? Again, I'm getting the word Deripaska. Isn't he a Russian oligarch, or he's some kind of connection to Russia? Because they were talking about Deripaska yesterday, apropos of nothing. And now I'm reading your question today. They're talking about Deripaska. Now, maybe it's not directly to Deripaska. It could be that they're using Deripaska as a placeholder for someone Russian who has connections to Russia, who has connections to United States politicians, House members or senators. So I'm going to go back to your original question. Will he get in trouble? The answer is yes, absolutely. He's going to be in trouble. Now, when we say trouble, what does that mean? Is he censured? Is he thrown out? Does he step down? Does he go before a magistrate? I don't know why I'm using that word. Does he go before a judge for parking tickets? I mean, trouble could be anything, right? I don't know about you, but I want to know if he's going to get in real trouble, like jail. I want to know if he's going to jail. And they're like, come on, Susan. Oh boy, he's in a lot of trouble. At some point, the energy suggests, it's not 100%, but the energy suggests right now that he could be under house arrest, that he could be wearing an ankle bracelet. He's in a lot of trouble. See, again, the interesting thing about what's about to happen, because it's about to happen, this is August, we're going into indictment season, is that the way Jack Smith is doing this, which is just brilliant, and he's really going to go down in the law history books, but also in the history books. The way he's doing this is he's going through RICO, which is racketeering charges. He's like, he's got a thread, and he's just pulling the thread, and then it unravels and it goes to all these different people. So allegedly, and for entertainment purposes only, I see Ron Johnson being in trouble with money, with either money coming from a foreign country, going to a foreign country, with allegedly, potentially the implication of having been paid for services. Those services might be voting. I don't know if we can draw a direct line to that. I don't know if that is really provable in court, but certainly it's implied. Again, they used that word in the very beginning of this question. But it also means that if you're doing that kind of thing and we can't prove it, Jack Smith can certainly prove other things, right? So if you're being sloppy enough, or you think you're untouchable enough that you're going to be doing those things, it just stands to reason that you've done other things, or you're doing other things that are going to have broken laws, allegedly. So yeah, he's going to be in trouble. All that to say, yes. Don't you guys wish that I would just say, yeah, he's going to be in trouble? Next question. All right. Marcellus Casals says, will the Democrats and independents show up to vote in droves? Or will we sit back thinking it's a done deal that Biden will win and miss out on not only showing the MAGAs and the Federalist Society that we are taking our country back, but also gain a supermajority in both houses of the Congress and get stuff done for the people? Yes, we're going to show up in droves, because what you guys are maybe not aware of is that the rest of the world isn't listening to psychics like me and Linda G and all the wonderful psychics in our community that have gotten a lot of things right? Like maybe not everything, but have gotten enough things right that I think you guys feel a little bit more at ease. We are going to take over the president. We're going to keep the presidency. We're going to take more of the House, and we're going to take more of the Senate. The question is, will we have a supermajority? I think that's a fine line that the guides have been a little bit reluctant to cross. I do think we'll have a majority. I'm not sure we'll have a supermajority. Will we come out in droves? Yes, we will. I do see, because what's going to happen between now and August of 2023 and November of 2024 is historic. We are going into nothing less than a historic timeline. And if you think, well, Susan, we've been through some historic timelines in the last 2 or 3 or 4 years, honey, that has nothing on what we're about to go through. We're about to indict and convict a past president of the United States. We have so much evidence on him that I don't think that the courts will even allow appeals. I think the court will say, yeah, we're choosing not to hear this case. It's an open, shut case, the guides are saying on Trump. He isn't going to get very many appeals. The Republicans want this to go away. They realize that their party is blowing up, that their party is falling apart. The party is going to start infighting. We're already seeing that, right? We're seeing some of the right-wing people be against DeSantis. We're seeing everybody in the Republican Party, it seems like, try to throw more of their weight behind Trump. But then we have Chris Christie taking Trump apart piece by piece. And we're going to have Jack Smith take Trump apart the rest of the way. Now, what you're going to see is what I've been telling you guys for a long time, which is the Republican Party is going to fall apart. By the time we get to May of next year, there's not a front runner in the Republican Party. None of us have been able to tell you who the nominee is going to be, because who knows who it's going to be. So many people are going to put their hand up to be the nominee and just fall by the wayside. It seems like the picture is just, I keep seeing this picture of like a war zone with bodies strewn everywhere, but that's not to be visceral. That is to be allegorical or metaphorical. These bodies represent, Chris Christie didn't make it, right? DeSantis didn't make it. Scott didn't make it. Trump didn't make it. So if they're representations of all of these political hopefuls that just didn't make it, right? But there's no one standing. I don't see anybody standing. So yes, I do see the Dems just sweeping it, taking the House and the Senate and the presidency. I think Gen Z is going to have a lot to do with this. I just think people will be so fed up with all of the truth that they're going to see, all of the truth coming out at them in the courts. Again, maybe some of these MAGAs, 60% of the MAGAs are not going to agree that that's truth. They're never going to accept this, right? But they're the minority. 100% of the MAGAs are the minority. So if 60% don't accept it and come out to vote, it's not going to do anything. It's like a nothing taco. Okay. So yeah, it's going to be fine, you guys. The thing that really you guys should be concerned about a little bit, or aware of, is more the word they want to use, is the political civil unrest that's going to happen around these arrests, around these indictments, around these court cases. That's the thing that I'm concerned about. Let's just put it that way. I'm not concerned about 24, the election. Not concerned about it right now. If something changes, I'll let you know. All right, let's move on. Cindy P says, will politicians and the corporate community take climate change seriously now that many disasters seem to be snowballing all at once? Super hot ocean temperatures, algae blooms, fires, droughts, floods, record high temperatures all over the world. And finally, will their efforts be too late? She says, this is really getting crazy. I've been worried about climate change since high school, and I'm now 59. What's taking so long to make those who have power help? Well, what's taking so long is profits, is really profits. These people, it's the guides are saying, and this is a funny thing for them to say. It's a weird thing for them to say. Why are they saying that? They're saying they're funny. They're saying it's a term that humans use, and they feel like humans will understand this. Okay. It's as if the corporate world has sold their soul to the devil, right? They sold their soul for profit. Let's put it that way. They've sold their soul for profit. They don't care. And people ask me, well, what about their kids or their grandkids? I mean, don't they understand that they're leaving behind this world that is going to be uninhabitable? You guys are missing the point. Again, these people are untouchable. They have more money than God, right? So they'll just grab an island or grab a mountain or grab some land that is the last land that's not going to be affected, and they'll build a dome and they'll live in it. I mean, some of them don't think they're going to be affected. They are untouchable. The other half of them think we're smart and we'll engineer our way out of it. And listen, the guides have told you this. If you're new here, I've done a lot of videos. I have a whole series on Wednesdays called Way Out Wednesdays, and you can look on my main channel by clicking the icon, looking at the playlist. But we've talked about how humans are going to be living in bubbles. And, at least the picture they show me, it's a very nice existence. It's not bad. You don't even feel like you're living in a bubble. You feel like you're living in a high-tech space age community, but there's a lot of greenery. There's a lot of plants and water, and it's really not a bad existence. And this is from someone who loves Mother Nature, right? But what I understand is that we need to get off of Mother Nature. They often show me, if you ever go hiking, or you maybe even go to your local park, sometimes the city or the state or the park service will put a chain up and say, don't use this trail. It's resting, meaning it's been used too much. We need to give it a chance, right? For the flora and fauna to come back. It's been overused. This is planet Earth. It's been abused and overused. She's going to push us off into the corner or under our bubble, and then she's going to heal herself. That's basically what's going to happen. It is too late, and it's not too late all at the same time. It is too late. We've certainly gone past the point of no return. We're not going to go back. Even if we all go live in a bubble, we're not going to go back. The Earth is not going to go back to where she was, right? Also, they're saying, dinosaurs were extinct. We didn't go back. We didn't bring them back. We didn't say, oh, oops, we're going to now go back and fix that. We just moved on. It's part of evolution. So the Earth will evolve. She will change. They're showing me, I don't know if this is true or not. They're talking about cactuses melting in the desert. But cactuses will evolve. And again, they were talking to me recently, because I'm vacationing in the mountains right now, that, animals are going to go extinct, and some are going to evolve. This is part of the evolution process. Part of this is human made. part of this is not. But it all together is the process of evolving. Now, I talked about in the last video with the spirit guides answering your political questions about Arizona and about how Arizona was going to be on the cutting edge. They were going to be the one to start dealing with this, right? Maybe because their climate is so extreme in some ways, right? So we are now going to, and I say now, and I don't, the guide's use of now is not very good. It's not very human. We are, let's say, yeah, okay. So they want to say we're now, okay. They're saying we have the awareness. I mean, they're showing me Greta Thunberg, however you say her last name, the young activist, climate activist. We have the awareness, and certainly the Gen Z kids have the awareness. It's now a question of power. And this is right. We've been talking about this in the last video too. The power quotient, the power balance. Right now, the power is in Exxon Mobil. It's in Saudi Arabia. It's in these countries that want oil to be the king. And that power quotient is being destabilized. That doesn't mean snap, it's fixed. It's a process. You know, they will win, the environment will win. They will win, the environment will win. It's going to take time. But this whole process is speeding up. And we will, yeah, it's going to get scary. I mean, it is. I mean, what can I tell you guys? Anything that changes our life, our lifestyle is going to be scary. We're going to adapt. We're going to evolve. We're going to learn how to deal with more storms. We're going to have to deal with more heat. We will learn to deal with these things. That's all I can tell you. We're in the process now. We're behind the process. We're behind the 8 ball, but we are going to be dealing with it in the next 20 years. And for the most part, because we are smart, we can engineer. We do have the ability to engineer. We're going to really adapt and change very quickly. We may phase out engine cars. We may phase out, you know, they're just telling me so many things. Also, a big problem, honestly, is coal fires. And I'm not talking about coal as in mining or using coal for energy. I'm talking about a vast swath of our world uses cooking fires, which add a lot of pollution. So there's just a lot of things that we are going to have to tackle. It's not just, you can't just point to one thing. It's a very big issue. And we're not to the tipping point yet. Believe it or not, we're not to the tipping point yet. Things will have to get worse before the power lets go. And then the governments step in, the world governments step in. You know, what happens all the time, they're saying, is the profit, the corporations, the greedy, profit-driven corporations, they just suck all the profit out. And then when it's ruined, they walk away and they let the government clean it up. Isn't that what always happens, right? They always leave behind the Superfund site, or they leave behind the environmental disaster, and then the government cleans it up. Well, the people are catching on to this, and the people are going to start holding these companies accountable in new ways, which is really going to curtail these companies from doing this stuff in the future. So it does seem out of hand. It is out of hand. We're close to the tipping point where everyone, all the humans, not all the humans, a vast majority of the humans are going to say, enough, enough. We're not going to allow this anymore. The tipping point is coming. I hope that, I don't know, I'm channeling, I don't know what I just said. Hopefully that makes some sense. It's coming. The tipping point is coming. Whether or not we live in a bubble, whether or not we all have to, leave the coast, whether or not we have to leave the forest, I don't know. It's terrible. My heart aches. I am a nature girl, but we have to take our medicine. And again, what will the people do? What will the humans do? We need to stand up. We need to get loud. We need to get in the faces. And I was riding through the mountains yesterday saying, I'm part of the problem, right? I am part of the problem. I'm eating a snack of nuts out of a plastic, container that it comes in, right? I'm driving a truck, I mean, it's just, we're all implicit. It's just not going to be this simple. Nobody's going to snap any fingers. We all have to take responsibility. And then we also all have to hold those greedy profit corporations accountable as well. Okay, let me move on. Susan Robinson says, hello, Susan. Will we see Mitch McConnell step down soon, please? And do your guides think Dianne Feinstein will as well? So again, I want to tell you guys, when the guides answer these questions, I could just say, yeah, he's going to disappear. He's going to cross over and Dianne Feinstein is going to step down. Next question. That answers your question. But the reason that I go so deep into it is because there's so much energy and there's lessons. The guides want to teach you guys the soul lesson, or they want to explain the energy or whatever they want to do. I don't know. Mitch McConnell, I don't see him stepping down soon. He is not, the guides want to say he is no longer in control of the situation. Meaning he decided, and I talked about this in my last video, or the video before last, I don't even know. He decided that he wants to die on the Senate floor. I don't think the Senate has the wherewithal or the courage to oust him, to remove him. And part of that is because we have Dianne Feinstein, right? Part of that is because the Senate is like a octogenarian, picnic or something. It's like, it's full of older people who perhaps should not be in this representation. They're not really the representation of the population of their state. If you understand what I'm saying, right? If you take the population of the state, the average mean of the age is not going to be anywhere near these people. So now the universe is like, what are you going to do, right? The Democrats have one, the Republicans have one. And the Democrats can't allow Dianne Feinstein, God bless her, to step down because she's on the Judiciary Committee. And Biden is pumping judges into judgeships. And he's doing this. He's appointing qualified judges that represent the makeup of the United States of America. So we want that. We want fair-minded judges that represent, brown people, all kinds of people, every race, every nationality, every culture. So if Dianne Feinstein steps down, McConnell has already said he's going to block somebody else coming on to the Judiciary Committee, and then there goes the judges. So yeah, we have brinkmanship here, don't we? We truly do. We have brinkmanship. Who's going to blink? Who's going to cross over first? Who's going to step down first? So that's where we are right now. The energy feels like it's at loggerheads. Now, when I said Mitch McConnell doesn't have control, what he's done is he realizes this is it. His ticket has been punched. He's waiting for his ride to the pearly gates. Okay. And he told me, I'm going to die on the Senate floor. I don't know if that's really, I know that's what he wants. That's what he wants, but I don't know that that's what's going to happen. I don't feel like that's what's going to happen. I feel like he could be hospitalized. I feel like he could be removed from the Senate without being removed from the Senate. So again, this is loggerheads. I cannot tell you how this is going to happen because free will. It hasn't been decided yet how it's going to happen. But what I can tell you is that when we go into 24, in the elections of 24, and these younger people start getting in to the House, and these younger people start voting, we're going to see a huge change in the makeup of the age representation in the Senate. We're going to see a huge change in that. I think we will see term limits, and I think we will see age limits. Now, people are like, oh, Susan, we can't have term limits because we've got some really great senators that are Democrats that have been in there for 4 terms or whatever. I know. I get it. They're great. They're awesome senators. But we really can't. This isn't going to fly. I'm just telling you, call 1-800-SPIRIT Guides, press 1 for complaints. Gen Z is not going to have this. They're not going to have this. So I don't care what you guys want. We're going to have term limits because Gen Z is going to get in there and they are going to disrupt everything. They're going to disrupt the Democrats. They're going to disrupt the Republicans. They're going to disrupt everybody because everything is too entrenched, and they're here to break it all open and let us all decide what should go back in. We're going to throw everything out of the basket, and then we're going to decide what to put back in the basket. Okay. I'm going to move on because I don't have a direct answer for your question. I think that Mitch McConnell, he could be gone. He could cross over tomorrow. It is not up to him. Again, this is up to God. It's up to his creator. His physical body's breaking down. Really what this is putting on the large screen. This is the message they want to give you. This is putting on the large screen. They're showing me a drive-in theater when, you and 50 cars would be in a parking lot and you would see this screen that would be huge. It's putting on the large screen, all of us to see how broken the Democrat, the Republicans, the whole system is. When we wake up from our fever dream, we're going to be disgusted. We're going to be disgusted that Dianne Feinstein is being wheeled in and really and truly being made to stay in the Senate. The same thing really with Grassley. Grassley wanted to retire and they made him come back, and they're making him, it's again, this sense of the marionettes, right? The puppets. Well, your puppeteer, the person who's controlling your strings, is saying, no, we need your vote. We need you to do what you're going to do. In the case of Dianne Feinstein, well, the puppeteer is the Democrats. They need her vote. We need these judges. In the case of Mitch McConnell, the puppeteer is, Satan. I'm going to move on now because I need to get out of that energy. All right. Next question is Sal Rods. Sal Rod says, I would like to know when and how the economic disadvantage Puerto Rico faces will be rectified. Currently, $70 billion is owed to the U.S. Will debt be canceled? Also, the Jones Act creates a disadvantage for Puerto Rico's economy. What will be done? Yeah, you guys, it would probably, the guides are saying it might be an interesting thing for some of you. Thinkers and sleuthers out there to look up Puerto Rico and the Jones Act. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know the guides are telling me that it really puts Puerto Rico at a disadvantage. It makes sure it's like this, like you hold somebody at arm's length, like you're never going to get closer than this, right? Puerto Rico, again, I'm offloading energy. Okay, what I just saw was, and I know a little bit about Puerto Rico. I have a friend who's Puerto Rican, and I've been to that country, and I've really experienced their hospitality and their graciousness, and they're beautiful, beautiful people. That country, that whatever you want to call it, protectorate. I don't even know what Puerto Rico is anymore. It's not a state yet. Protectorate. I don't even know what its designation is, but I've been there. And it's a beautiful place with beautiful people. But it is torn. When I was there, I was told, do not talk about statehood. Do not talk about it. You do not have the clearance, so to speak, to talk about it. You will find yourself in a big fight. You will start a big fight. Don't talk about it. So you can see that it's a divided topic. Statehood. You didn't even ask about statehood, right? It should get statehood. I really feel like it should just get statehood. I think this solves all the problems. I think it removes the Jones Act. I think it removes this idea that billions are owed to the USA. It clarifies its place with us. I think we just really need to either A, let them be a state, or B, let them be independent, let them vote, let them do their thing. And then and I think that money should be erased. They are not operating on a level playing field. I really feel like when Biden, what they're telling me is when Biden gets in 24, he's going to really take up the mantle of giving Puerto Rico a voice in whether they want to be a state. I really think he's going to push that to allow them to have the vote. So I feel like we just need to put our money where our mouth is and do it and give them an opportunity to come into the fold or decide to be independent. I really do. And I know I just waded in and gave my opinion, but that's the spirit guides. Let's see how many Puerto Ricans I have watching me, because I guarantee you they will be in the comments. And that's just what I'm getting. Okay. And I'm sure you're either Puerto Rican or you have some connection to Puerto Rico. Perhaps you have relatives living there or something. Sal, I'm sure you do. Okay. Let me move on. Karen B says she's wondering if Kellyanne Conway has any responsibility in the January 6th or documents cases. She always made excuses for 45, even though she went to law school and knows better. You guys, these people don't know better. Many of them have gone to law school. Just because you've learned, yeah. They use their power for bad. You can use your power for good or bad. You can use your education for good or bad. She's chosen to use it for bad. Kellyanne Conway, for entertainment purposes only, is the guides call her a hanger on. She's never been able to get the power position that she wants to get. She's never been able to sort of get through that glass ceiling, so to speak. So she hangs on. So she she sucks up to these MAGAs, to these whoever has the power. If we had a new political party that was created next year that was called the Gagas, the hoo-hoos, whatever, she would just become a hoo-hoo all of a sudden. She's a grifter. She's going to hang on to whoever has the power. She believes in her. This is energetically, I'm speaking my opinion and for entertainment purposes only. She believes in her heart that she's better than those people. This is the root of all of it. Everything is the root of I'm better than them, whoever them are. Democrats, Black people, brown people, Asian people, gay people, trans people, doesn't matter. I'm better than them. Especially laborers. You are a laborer. I am better, right? It's this royalty sense of being untouchable. She wants to be with those untouchables, but she's never been able to become an untouchable. So that's why she does it. Will she have any responsibility? I don't feel directly. I don't feel that she's going to be directly responsible. She certainly is going to be implicated. There's a whole, like, what do you call that? An asteroid. I swear to God, you guys, they're showing me an asteroid belt. So like an asteroid belt around a planet. Okay. So the planet would be Trump, Giuliani, a lot of people, MTG, Gates, a lot of people are in this, are in the planet. The planet is the group that gets not only indicted, but many of them convicted. The asteroid belt is the people that the hangers on, the grifters. they probably had something to do with something, but not enough to necessarily put them in jail. Okay. And maybe even not enough necessarily for them to be a witness. Okay. So she's in the asteroid belt of the criminal planet, for lack of a better description. All right. Maura says, how and when will the Hollywood writers and actors strike end? We have been out of work for months with no end in sight. It's affecting all the people who work on shows and many businesses as well, not just writers and actors. Mara, if you are one of those strikers, just know that I support you 100%. This again, we're entering this energy. So they're showing me, remember how I was just talking about the loggerheads with the Republicans and Democrats, with Feinstein and McConnell, this loggerheads. Like, when you have this, how do you win? How do you have a compromise? How do you have a compromise when this is happening, right? So this is what I see with the writers. I don't see. All right. Okay, right. I did talk about this in part 1. I think they brought it up apropos of some other question that I didn't feel like was that connected, but I did talk about this before. There is this energy of the right. So this is all connected. Again, this is the power structure saying no. No. The power structure saying no. If we give an inch, these people will take a mile. It seems like they understand energetically that they are about to have to capitulate, that they're about to have to really freaking be humane, and they can't do it. They're like, no, we have to, the words the guides are saying, that the Hollywood executives are saying is, we have to put the uprising down. We have to put the uprising down. So it feels to me that the Hollywood executives are saying, no, we are going to win. And also there's this sense that, again, proving to the writers that we don't need you. Like right now, I feel like the Hollywood executives are utilizing some people in other countries, like sort of like Russia, sort of like other countries like that, to write AI scripts for scripts, to write AI code for scripts. And they are, what they're doing right now is they're buying time. It's the summertime. They don't feel like they have much to waste. They feel like people are out and about. They're not at home watching shows. They're at the game. They're traveling. So they feel like they've got time right now to test this. So they don't feel like they have to capitulate. What they're testing is they're getting these AI scripts, and they're getting this AI dialogue, writing shows. I'm not sure how to describe it. And they're testing it. They're saying, hey, watch this show. What they're getting feedback from some sort of test groups. Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're trying to replace you, and they're trying to replace you in real time right now. So they're saying, maybe we can go ahead and replace these writers. It's like mind-blowing, and it's insanity is what it is. It's insanity. But it's causing us, again, the guides would say, what will humans choose? Again, there's this sense that humans have to decide, what do we want? AI is not going to go away, you guys. It is not going to go away. However, how we use AI can be tailored. We can decide, humans can decide. Now, the other thing that's happening is that there's also an undercurrent of energy that suggests that these Hollywood executives are happy that some of these, like Colbert Report, some of these these comedians or that kind of lean liberal, right? That aren't producing. I mean, not only is our shows not producing, but the liberal talking points aren't producing either. Sorry, it's getting dark in here. The light is changing. How is it going to end? Okay. It's not going to work. Okay. All right. Okay. So right now, okay. So this is a shot across the bow, if you will. This is the writers are getting a shot across the bow in the sense that these Hollywood executives are trying this. They're shooting a shot across the bow. They're trying this. It's not going to work. The AI is not going to work right now. It cannot work. It is not going to work. It actually is not capable of replacing a human writer with all the humanity and the foibles and the intrinsic uniqueness that makes up a freaking human being. It's not going to replace that. It can augment, it can help. You may find less writers are needed because one writer can write more scripts with AI. That's kind of how I see it going into the future. But right now, it didn't work. They're saying it fell flat on its face. The executives, the Hollywood executives, will broker a deal with the writers. This deal will go into effect, I believe, by the fall. I know it's August 1st, but they're going to have shows on the market, quote unquote, by October. So I think they're going to broker a deal. But I do think that, unfortunately, the energy suggests that the writers are broken down a little bit. They don't have the wherewithal to pay their bills. I come from a union family. I know what it's like. When my dad went on strike, it was peanut butter. Literally, I remember my dad going to get one of those, and this is where the cheese thing happened. Y'all want to really know the truth. He got the government cheese. Y'all, it was like 2 foot long. Like, he put it on the counter. I'm like, my God, what is that? Y'all, we ate cheese for a long time. Okay. I know what it's like to have a parent or to be in a family that is on strike and really have to, find a way to get through that, right? To eat less or eat government food or whatever you have to do. So my heart goes out to you. But I know that you guys, that the energy suggests that the writers are broken, the writers are downtrodden. And and this does mean that the Hollywood executives will proffer a deal. The word is proffer. They will proffer some kind of deal. But it means that the deal won't be super great. But I do think the writers will take it. And believe me, if you are a writer or someone is watching this video that's a writer, you guys have got to do something. This is the shot across the bow. This isn't the end of this. You're going to have to do something else. You may find that you need to get better at messaging. You may find that you guys need to start taking to YouTube to start having your own voice. You guys have to educate the viewing public about what's happening. We don't know that the average writer is making $28,000 and doesn't have health care. We don't know that. We just see, the rich actors. We don't see the other part of this. This is wrong. This is totally wrong. So take the deal, get back to work, but then you guys need to really work very, very hard to saddle up next to these rich actors and start doing your own public service announcements. Start putting it out there that there's actors that will work with you. People will listen to anything an actor or an actress says. They are your bully pulpit. They are your megaphone. Get with them, use them, and start building right now. Well, not right now because you're exhausted. After you get your jobs back, start building your persona, your public persona. Do not go back into your office and start writing. You've got two jobs now. You've got to do your job, but you've also got to get that megaphone out there and educate the public about the service you do. This is an allegory and a metaphor for all of us. All of us, right? We have to stand together. The people have to come together. And we will. This is the energy, okay? But specifically for you writers. Okay, let me do, oh my God, it's already been an hour. Let me do one more question and maybe I'll do a part 3. Mike W says, hi, Susan, was the Supreme Court persuaded? Again, is this lighting bothering you? I don't know how to fix it. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix the lighting. Okay, I think the lighting is a little better, maybe. Okay, Mike W says, the Supreme Court has, excuse me, I'm sorry. Was the Supreme Court persuaded to vote how they did in 2000 regarding Bush v. Bohr? Are Freudian slips really just your spirit guides? I mean, really, let's just talk about this for a minute. Are Freudian slips really just your spirit guides, like having fun? Because I just said Bush v. Bohr, and I like Gore. I love Gore. If we'd have had Gore, we wouldn't be in this climate crisis we are now. He would have been a great president, to be honest with you, but people thought he was boring. So let's go back. Regarding Bush v. Gore and the Florida recount, if so, will this ever be uncovered? The guides say the United States doesn't have the stomach to accept this. There's a lot of things that the United States citizens don't have the stomach to accept, right? And this is where we're going. We're about to see the underbelly, the ugliness of the United States. Now, I'm a United States citizen. I love my country, but I'm not brainwashed. You know what I mean? I've seen the United States do things I don't agree with, right? That's what makes Democrats different than Republicans. We disagree. We say, I'm not going to be in lockstep with everything that this president does or everything that my party does. I'm going to be saying that the majority of what my party does, I agree with. Or if my Democratic representative or senator does something crazy, then I'm going to work against them. We're just not in lockstep, right? So, but we don't have the stomach. Will it be uncovered? Okay. All right. The guides are saying, once again, it has been uncovered. It's been uncovered. It's like disclosure with aliens. What do you guys want? You know what I mean? What would satisfy that for Biden to say, yes, the election was rigged, the court rigged it, the court threw the election. I mean, is that what would satisfy us? And then secondly, what would that do? Right? Unless just saying yes, it did isn't going to solve anything. What we need to do is fix the problem, right? So in the sense, maybe you're saying, if we would go back and witness history in a new way and really accept and validate what happened, then we would learn from our lessons and we could create new laws or new guardrails to protect us from making that mistake again. Yes, I agree with you. And yes, the Supreme Court was absolutely persuaded to vote. I mean, absolutely. It was thrown. The vote was thrown. It was thrown. I mean, look at our Supreme Court now. It's bought and paid for. A lot of those Supreme Court judges are bought and paid for. Their clerks write their dissent or their ruling. It's again, the guides are showing me lobbyists write laws. lobbyists write laws. Think about that for a minute. The lobbyist of the timber companies, the lobbyist of big pharma, the lobbyist of the defense contractor says, here you go, Senator. My lights are blinking. Here you go, Senator. Here's what we think would be a great law. It's not the people. They're not writing the laws for you and me. They're writing the laws for the people that are paying them. It's the same thing that you're asking about the Supreme Court and Bush v. Gore. It's the same thing. This is the problem. This is why the people will unite and overthrow. That's the word that I used. And I can't get them to use a different word. Overthrow these power centers. And think about the word overthrow. What does that imply to you? It implies civil disobedience, civil unrest. Loggerheads. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Not just the writers and the Hollywood executives. It's the people and the power centers. This is where we're going. This is where we are. This is the beginning of it. And there's going to be skirmishes, and there's going to be, fights, and there's going to be power plays. Eventually, the pendulum is going to swing from this far right more to the left. And that's probably going to be a little too far to the left. We're going to overcorrect. That's what these things do, right? When you get this kind of energy, it's not subtle. It's not like, a little to the left, a little to the right. It's really out of balance. So when it gets balanced, it's going to swing way far over. And extremes are not good in any direction. So we've got our work cut out for us. We really have our work cut out for us. But the bottom line here at the end of this video is that it's all about the humans. It's all about what do the humans want. And it's also all about our communities. We've got to start in our communities. This is how the Republicans have taken over everything. This is how we got MAGAs. It all started with the Tea Party. It all started with the religious right. They started infiltrating school boards. They started infiltrating your mayor, your city council. And now Gen Z is going to be the group that's going to infiltrate all of that stuff. And that might be the reason why we swing so far to the left, because new polling suggests that Gen Z is very much to the left. Of course, there's pockets of Gen Z MAGAs. Of course there are. But the majority of Gen Z really far to the left. And I've been telling you guys, they're disruptors. They're going to disrupt everything. They're going to disrupt the Democrats. They're going to disrupt the Republicans. They're going to disrupt the system. They're here because our system is broken. And we've been over here, Democrats have been putting Band-Aids on it and fixing things and trying to keep the Republicans from sliding us too far to the right. Well, the Gen Z is going to show up and they're going to be like, screw both of you. Screw both of you. Nobody gets it. We're the ones that have to inherit this planet that y'all have totally effed up. We're now going to start taking charge, taking command, and we are going to be the ones making these decisions. The problem is the guides keep telling you, we don't know what they want. We don't know anything about Gen Z. They're an enigma to us. They don't get married. They don't have kids. They don't care about college, or they don't care about this. They're into things that none of us are into. We don't know anything about them. They're truly going to be a disruptor. But again, like they said earlier, we're going to dump everything out of the basket. And then we're going to all hopefully decide what goes back in the basket. Or, in 5 years, Gen Z is going to decide what goes back in the basket. So this is where we are. Don't ask me how I got there, talking about Bush v. Gore. I tell you guys, the spirit guides have decided your political questions are just an opportunity for them to talk about soul lessons, apparently. This is what I just discovered yesterday. I'm like, oh, this is why they want to do this. Okay. Because they take your question and they go talking about, 10 different things. Let me know in the comments if you would rather. I ask you guys this, but I really do want to know what you think. I think the fact that the views are up on the videos, you guys like these deep dives. You like to hear what the spirit guides have to say about more and more things than just the question. And honestly, it's all connected. It's hard for me to just answer these questions unless I just say, yes, it was the Supreme Court was persuaded to vote. The answer is yes. Will this ever be uncovered? Maybe. There's your answer, right? I could answer it in 2 questions, 2 answers, or I could go into the deep dive and let the spirit guides, blow hot air like they do. Let me know what you think. Okay. You know what I am going to do? I'm saying this. I said this before. I see the 60-40. See, the spirit guides managed to say this before Susan was like, wait, what? What are you saying? Wait, hold on. I was just going to say there's going to be a part 3 because there really are some great questions in here that I would like to answer for you guys. So there will probably be a part 3. Just keep your eyes peeled, right? If you subscribe and you hit the bell notification, you'll get a notification when I have a video. Also, some of my viewers have been saying they were unsubscribed. This happens. They go through, the algorithm just goes through and just unsubscribes people. You're more than likely to be unsubscribed if you don't comment or you're not an active viewer. They'll just unsubscribe you. It's weird. The algorithm is just trying to figure out what people are watching. And if you're not watching somebody, they just take, I don't know why they do it. It's crazy. Again, it's AI, right? The guides just say, that is AI trying to be human, not doing a good job of it. Take really good care of yourselves, okay? And we'll talk to you again really soon. For entertainment purposes only.